one scene. So Scrapscape was created because I was working on behind the scenes, and I wasn't happy with a lot of how part of this piece turned out. So as you can see here, I am removing layers and layers and layers of plastic, and it's all coming off in one fell swoop in a nice big sheet of plastic. I'm removing it from behind the scenes, and it's sort of an interesting process. It's not garbage. I can't add plastic to the world. There's enough plastic in our environment. So the plastic that I am creating with, I have like a no refuse rule for myself. So I take any plastic that I happen to take off of my pieces or any scraps, and I turn them into another piece of artwork. So that is how the whole idea of Scrapscape began. And I had to remove these pieces from another piece of artwork, and I had to then decide what I was going to do with them. So instead of throwing them out, I start laying them out on a new canvas, figuring out how the pieces could be used. Again, it's almost like collaging with plastic, plastic pieces. So rearranging how they fit on a canvas becomes a big part then of how they might speak to each other and what I might end up creating, and the small details of how they'll go together. Just being able to reuse the work feels really important. Reuse the pieces feels really important to me. I actually have like this enormous tower from scraps that I've created years ago. I mean, over the years, of plastic that I've refused to get rid of, and it's creating this awesome totem, which is pretty cool. So after I figure out how I want them to lay on the canvas, and each strand, each strand is important. Then I start to go through and with an iron. First I put a piece of parchment paper over it, and then I use an iron on top of the plastic and the canvas to melt the plastic down onto the canvas. So that creates the first layer then of the piece of artwork that I'm building. Again, so this piece, which is inspired by this desire to not add refuse to our environment, to not add more plastic garbage to our environment, to make sure that what I am doing with the plastic is all consuming, that I always use all of the plastic that I am working with in my pieces. So I get my ironing on, and I keep adjusting the layers until I feel confident that it is certainly ironed in there enough. Now all of this again is sped up like 20 times fast. This process is not a fast one, just like creating with the 3D Doodler 3D printing pen is not a fast one. So after I've gotten all of those pieces that I pulled off of the original on, then you can start to see how the piece comes together. So I start to use the 3D printing pen on top of what I've ironed on and building it up into a scrapscape that looks like this.